Hi, I'm Crystal Hurd, and welcome to my channel, That Lewis Lady. Today we are talking about 2025 releases that I am excited about. Now, I am a lit fic kind of gal. I'm an English major, so I've sort of been molded as a literary fiction, but I also love historical fiction. I love some fantasy. I love some romance. It just depends. Whatever I'm in the mood for. But usually I stick towards more like literary fiction and poetry and all that stuff. So today's list is a little eclectic, but it kind of is representative of my taste, which is a bit of a buffet when it comes to things that I love to read. Now, these aren't all the books that I'm looking forward to. There are some other ones. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie has one coming out in March that I'm interested to see. Sarah Moss has one coming out in late summer, early fall, I think, here in the States. So there are a lot of good books coming out our way. Thank goodness. Love stories and love books. So let's get into it. All right, and I'm going to go in chronological order. So on February 18th, we have The Echoes by Evie Wyld. I read, I think, The Base Rock by Evie Wyld a couple years ago, and it was a great book. I really enjoyed it. This book is narrated by a ghost. Need I say more? What a cool concept. It's actually narrated by a ghost looking in on their life after they've passed. And so I just thought that was a really interesting concept. I really like books that like to experiment with narration. So that one's coming out on February 18th. March 4th is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. I haven't heard much about this book other than it's two people who chase each other through different lifetimes. I think that concept is so cool. These stories where, you know, you have two people who love each other, and through different generations, different storylines, they always find each other, right? It's that great sort of love story. It's like, I'll always find you wherever you go. But I think one of them is trying to kill the other one in multiple storylines, but they end up falling in love. So it sounds interesting. So that one's coming out March 4th. March is a full month of releases. As you guys know, if you keep up with the publishing industry, there's usually a huge push in the spring, like March, April, and then there's a huge push in like October, November. For summer reads and like, winter reads or Christmas time, reads. So this is our big push for the spring. On March 18th, we have Patty Callahan Henry's The Story She Left Behind. People who are big fans of Lewis will recognize Patty from two books that are focused on C.S. Lewis. One was her fantastic historical fiction book on Joy Davidman, which was C.S. Lewis's wife. And the other one was Once Upon a Wardrobe, where she actually imagines where the story of Narnia came from. So she crafts this really original story about a girl who's going to Oxford. Her younger brother is a huge Narnia fan. In the 1950s, he's sick, so she gets to meet Mr. Lewis, Professor Lewis, and ask him about his life and where the origin of the story comes from. And it's just such a sweet story. So she's done some amazing, great work with historical fiction. This one isn't Lewis focused, but I love the way she writes. And The Secret Book of Flora Lee was my favorite book 2 years ago when it came out. Loved that book so much. Set in Oxford during World War II. Has the same vibe. So I highly recommend this book. She's amazing. Check her out. On the 25th of March, we have I Am the Arrow by Sarah Rudin. If that name strikes a familiarity for you, Sarah Rudin is a poet and a translator. She's done some work with, I have a copy of her Confessions that she translated, and she's translated a few other things. I think she did one on biblical translation. She did a book about biblical translation, and has done some other works as well. So This book is about Sylvia Plath and trying to through 6 works and pictures of Sylvia Plath. So A, it's about a poet, and B, it's by Sarah Rudin. I'm sold. So that will be out March 25th. Also out March 25th. I literally just heard the synopsis of this book, and I immediately went and pre-ordered it. It's called Harriet Tubman Live in Concert. All I'm going to say is this is the synopsis. Harriet Tubman comes back from the dead and becomes a hip-hop artist. Take my money. I love the originality of that concept. So that was coming out March 25th. In April, we have one book that I'm interested in April. Now, I know Abby Jimenez, the romance author, and Emily Henry also have books coming out, I believe, in April or May-ish. So those books, I usually will get those from Book of the Month and read those. So I'm sure I'll read those at some point. But the one I'm looking forward to in April is actually a fantasy book by Mark Lawrence, who's written some other great fantasy works. This is book 3 of the library trilogy, The Book That Held My Heart. And the first book is fantastic. I haven't gotten to read the second book yet, but love his characters. I love his characters so much. He's so good at what he does. I do remember the first time I heard of him was about his Assassin Nun series. And again, need I say more? Nun assassins. That's intriguing. So yeah. So great stuff, Red Sister. It's good stuff. So Mark Lawrence never disappoints. He's auto buy for me usually. So now in May 18th. Oh, I'm so happy that this is coming out. Ocean Vuong, the poet, who wrote great stuff like Night Sky with Exit Wounds, Time as a Mother, is coming out with his second novel. His first one, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, is a gorgeous book in itself. It's absolutely enchanting. Poets who write novels are just auto buy for me. I love those people. Like, so good. I just love them. So when I heard Ocean Vuong had another novel coming out, I was all about it. It's called The Emperor of Gladness, and it will be out May 18th, and I'm so excited for this book. I will probably buy it both in physical and ebook because I'm a total fangirl, and I have no apologies. Ocean Vuong, love it. It's great. Now, June 3rd, for folks who love C.S. Lewis, we have a middle grade C.S. Lewis book coming out called Giant by my friend Judith. She is actually from Northern Ireland, and she wrote a story about C.S. Lewis, who grew up in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and he befriends a working class kid, and together they unite under their love of story. I actually got to read an advance copy and blurb this book. Oh, you guys, it is so good. It is so good. I love this book. It talks about imagination, no matter your socioeconomic status. It talks about friendships and what it takes to endure those, no matter what the circumstance. It is an amazing read, and it's coming out this summer, June the 3rd, and Judith will actually be coming stateside to do a few speaking engagements with the release of the book, so stay tuned for that, and I'll make sure to get you guys updated on that. If you're on the East Coast, I know I think she's going to be doing some stuff in the Nashville, Tennessee area, so stay tuned for that, and I'll get you updated. Cannot wait for that book. Now I'm going to stop in August. I'm not going to go all the way through the year, but I do have 2 in August that I'm interested in seeing. One is R.F. Kuang's new book. We don't know much about it, but I read Babel a couple years ago. Again, one of my favorite books of the year. Takes place in Oxford. It tackles so many topics, but it also does so very intelligently, very creatively, and I really enjoyed that book. I really, really enjoyed it. I've also read Yellowface, and I enjoyed that one as well. I haven't gotten to read all of the Dragon Age books yet, but I'm working on that. So R.F. Kuang, she's just super intelligent, super smart. Like, everything she writes, it just leaps off the page. It's great. So I'm looking forward to that book. And then the last one, which is also the 18th. I think R.F. Kuang is actually August 5th. My bad. And then August 18th is A Theory of Dreaming by Ava Reed. If you've been keeping up with Ava Reed, she has been a busy bee right now. She did the Lady Macbeth book, which I have, but I haven't read yet. But she did A Study in Drowning. That's book 1. This is the second book of that. I'm assuming is a duology. But Ava Reed, yeah, she's writing some really, really interesting stuff, and she has another book that's actually coming out, because I know previously she had published some books and now they're being reissued. But this book is brand new. It's not a reissue, but she has had some other books that are being reissued right now under a traditional publisher. So I really enjoy her stuff. Very, very energetic. Very just imaginative and whimsical. So yeah, it's sort of the dark academia vibe if you're into A Study in Drowning. But I was all about it. I thought that was really, really excellent. So, and if you've seen the book, it does have a picture on Amazon, and it is gorgeous. The sprayed pages are bookshelves. I mean, hello. And the story inside is just as neat. So those are, I think I had 10 picked out of the 2025 releases that I am anticipating and I'm really excited about. Again, I don't like to buy books straight out the box. I kind of like to wait and see what the reaction is. If it's a book that if it's a book that's new to me or an author I'm unfamiliar with, usually I will wait a couple weeks and sort of see what see what the reception is first. But then people like R.F. Kuang or Patty Callahan Henry, they are auto buy for me. Take my money. You can have it. Take it. Give me the story. So, yeah. So, what else are you anticipating for this year? What books are you looking forward to? Drop them in the comments below and let's start a conversation. So, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you all later.